Hello everyone and welcome back for the final battle for North America in this Part 2 battle between Old School and Late Knights, the Battle of Salerno. Here we see Late Knights deploy cavalry heavily to the north with Storm's shock cavalry and Cardinal's light skirmish units. On the southern flank, ranged units heavily deployed with Lord Commander Guts leading the Roman heavy cavalry. And at the center we see Bloodspiller hold the main front line with Nero Phoenix with their heavy infantry. Instigator's artillery is directly behind the main line in this deployment, and on support are Rainfire in the north with skirmisher units, and Rosti Nuke as well as Erikswang as range support in the south. Fire Phoenix with his heavy units hold in the grass next to Bloodspillers holding the left side of that. What Old School doesn't know is that the infantry has put up stakes all around the tall grass on their defensive side. This is to encourage an infantry frontal assault and discourage any cav skirmishers at the center from Old School. Old School, on the other hand, deploys in two balanced formations on the north and the south, with cavalry focused on the north side. The southern, less mobile flank, led by Mike Satz and Entropy, move into the city, hoping to pull the Late Knights out of their center. Though with Guts skirmishing from the city on opposite sides, the force must push into deeper enemy territory. They have very little chance to catch the heavy cavalry or do much damage from afar. Meanwhile, on the north, Callan's cavalry leads the Old School offensive for the northern tower. Callan, leading Old School's offensive cavalry, begins the attack at the tower in the north. Cardinal's single cavalry regiment baits the attack, and Callan pushes forward before the rest of the northern force is able to catch up in the tree line. They are cut off by Storm's cavalry. Now at this point, Late Knights maintain the upper hand. Old School northern force dispatches Fallen Angel's secondary cavalry force to harass the center, while the main fight in the north turns into a defensive push by Old School. Here, Late Knights' northern flank continue a bombardment of skirmish attacks, being the more mobile force. This in turn delays Old School northern force to hug the tower in a very defensive turtle formation. Though through the skirmish, slowly Late Knights lose men to this attrition. At the same time in the south, Old School's main force finally moves towards the grass, with Fallen Angel's cav keeping the artillery and the right side of Late Knight's force occupied. Instigator loses one regiment with Fallen Angel's cav finding a hole in the defense. Here, Fallen Angel sacrifices his cav regiment in order to take out one of the artillery units. As the Old School overwhelming force begins to meet range resistance from Late Knights, they fail to see into the tall grass to counter the archers and the javelins. The Late Knights do a tactical retreat northwards to bait the force into the stakes. Here, Guts' cav harasses the rear to allow Late Knights to reorganize and volley back into Old School's backline. Still within the safety of the surrounding stakes, Fallen Angel's cav fails to penetrate the rest of the defenses as Old School is unable to move from Guts' heavy cav skirmishes. As the Old School force nears the grass to gain vision, Guts heads into a final desperate attack and holds the main Old School infantry line as the Late Knights range barrage into the southern Old School force. Although Guts' cav is completely annihilated, the Old School force has sustained severe casualties. With the northern Old School force pushing at Late Knight's center now, the northern skirmishers continue to delay, taking several losses. This in turn buys the center time to finish off the southern Old School threat before turning to focus onto the northern force. Without the northern flank available to pincer the Late Knights center, Late Knights effectively use the cavalry and skirmish units to defeat both flanks in detail, thus allowing the Late Knights towards a victory. We very much enjoy the skirmish between Late Knights and Old School, and this is the final piece in the North American domination for Total War Arena. Don't forget, Total War Arena is back September 23rd, and we hope to see you guys in the battlefield. This is Lord Commander Guts of the Late Knights, signing off. Catch you guys later.